everyone, it's Katie, and today I wanted to do a quick sequence for the lower back. I work with a lot of people who have chronic back pain, or they just get it from driving or working too long or whatever it may be. And there's, depending on what the reason is for your low back pain, a lot of us get it coming from our hips. A lot of us have weaker ab muscles than we do in the low back, so we're just coming out of alignment, or maybe we have an injury that's been pulling us out of alignment. So some of the stretches will focus on physically stretching the muscles of the low back, but also getting into the hips, activating the core, and just reminding us to lengthen our spine to make more space for the muscles of the low back and alleviate some of that pain. So we'll start on our hands and knees today. And getting down on the floor, you don't need a yoga mat, maybe just on the carpet, or if this hurts your knees, just roll up some blankets and put them underneath your knees. You come into a position on your hands and knees. Bring your hands so that they're right underneath your shoulders, your knees into your hips, and try to have your feet pointing straight back here. And just take a moment and notice what your spine wants to do naturally, lazily. Mine likes to arch in the low back, so I'm dumping into my belly here. And try to get long in the spine. So pull the belly button in, reach through the crown of the head, let the shoulder blades come down your spine, and it's almost like you're trying to lift these frontal hip bones up towards your rib cage. And just notice how you're already activating your belly here. Just feel that long spine. Take a deep breath in here, reach through the crown of the head, send your sit bones back with a strong belly. And then just hold that for a moment. And then go through what's called a couple cat-cow rotations, so just kind of flowing through the spine. So as you inhale, let the belly drop, try to pull your chest forward in between your shoulders and gaze up. As you exhale, let the head get heavy, suck the belly in, really round your back into cat pose. And then move with your breath here. Inhaling up, try to really articulate through the spine. Exhale down and rounding. And do this however long you want to. We'll just do a couple here. Inhaling up, heart forward, exhaling down. And this time as we come down, we'll come into a child's pose. So there's a couple different ways to do this. I like to send my knees out a little bit wider than my hips. Maybe your toes stay together, maybe they don't. And let your hands come above you, and your forehead will maybe make it to the mat. And if this doesn't work for you, you can always stay up here a little bit higher, keeping your hips up. Maybe you can put a pillow underneath the back of your thighs and just sink into that. So find a position similar to this that's comfortable for you and feels safe. And just let the hips sink towards the heels. Keep your shoulder blades moving down your spine and allow your hands to walk forward. And take a really deep breath in here. Open your mouth. Exhale, get heavy. And we'll plant the hands. We'll walk back up to that cat-cow position. Bring the knees back together underneath your hips. And this time as you take an inhale, coming back into that cow pose. And as you exhale, round your back. And I like to add a little bit more fluidity. So maybe some circular motions, just inhaling and exhaling here. Doing whatever feels good, maybe going further back. Breathing, long, slow, deep breath in. Exhaling. One more deep breath in, change directions. And then come back to center, back into that tabletop position, and find that long spine we just created. Those hands right underneath the shoulders, knees under the hips. Pull the belly in, shift the center of your chest forward, and reach out to the crown of your head, long neck here. And we're going to extend the right leg straight behind you, so keep the toes tucked under. And get really strong in that leg. And then allow that outer right hip to drop down a little bit. Pull the belly in and re-lengthen the spine here. So this is already working your abs a little bit more. If you'd like, you can lift the leg, trying to hold onto that strong belly, keeping the outer right leg, the right hip rolling down. And maybe add the arm. So just take this step by step, whatever feels comfortable to you, so you can hold on to this alignment most importantly, and breathe comfortably. So take a long, slow, deep breath in. Find length through the hands, through the foot. And exhale, coming back down. switching sides, doing this one a little bit more quickly. Stepping back with that left foot, maybe pressing through the heel a bit. Lower that outer left hip down. Pull the belly in. Try and lengthen the spine. And then maybe start to float the foot. And notice how the belly might want to drop here. You might want to sink into your shoulders. Pull the belly in. Reach the crown of the head forward and stay long and strong. Really squeeze all the muscles in that back of the leg. And if you'd like to add more balance, reach with the right arm. Take a long, slow, deep breath in. With every inhale, see if you can find more length. And with every exhale, checking with the alignment. Can I pull the belly in a little bit more? Can I lengthen my spine a little bit more? Maybe that outer left hip can come down a little bit more. One more deep breath in here. And exhale, bring the hands and knees back down. Send the hips back towards your heels. And take a breath here in child's pose. And then as you're laying here, start to walk your hands over towards the right side of you. So keep your hips just as they are, or maybe shift them over a little bit towards the left. And we're looking for a long stretch down the whole left side of the body, maybe even into the lower back. So on your next inhale, try to find space. Really breathe into that left side body. Maybe cross that left hand over the right hand. And just let the weight of your hips sinking back pull that stretch in this side of your body. Long, slow, deep breath in. Exhale, come back to center and switch sides. So hands are reaching over towards the left. The right hip stays where it is or maybe shifts over towards the right. Take a deep breath in, breathing into that right side body. Really expand these right ribs. Really let this right hip sink back as you oppose this stretch with this right hand reaching over to the left. Long, slow, deep breath in. Exhale, let the hips get heavy. And again, walk the hands back to center. Come back to your tabletop position. And coming into what's called downward facing dog. So there's an option here to just stay here in this pose if you want, working on that spine alignment. If you feel comfortable, walk your hands forward a little bit more. And then tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. Keep a deep bend in your knees. Let your head get heavy. And if you want, you could pedal out your feet here if that's warming you up a little bit. Let your chest press back and start to just tilt your sit bones up. You'll feel a stretch in the back of your hamstrings here. So eventually you could work towards, as you get warmer throughout your day or throughout any movements you're doing, this will go deeper, but really start with these bent knees so you can focus on elongating the hamstrings and making room for your chest to press back. Take a deep breath in here, and maybe start to press the heels down. And as you exhale, look in between your hands, walk forward a little bit, keep that deep bend into the knees, and come into a forward fold, belly on the thighs. Let your head hang, let your arms hang. Just breathe here for a moment. Maybe using your hands to help balance you on the ground. Sometimes I like to grab the back of my heels and keeping my belly pressing in towards the thighs, I lift my hips up as far as I can, keeping that contact. And this kind of helps lengthen the lower back a little bit more. So I'm still reaching my head and chest down. My belly's pressing on my thighs. I'm just making a little bit more space. And then roll up through your spine, come into a flat back like you're making 90 degrees with your body. Take an inhale here. Bring your hands to the creases of your hips for a moment. Press your sit bones back, just like we did in that tabletop position. Pull the belly in. Shift the center of your head forward and the center of your chest forward. And make that long spine, strong body. And then bending into the knees, fold forward again. Heavy neck, heavy head. And then inhale, come halfway back up. And we'll just transition straight to the floor. So however you can get there, coming onto your hips and go all the way onto your back. So have your knees bent and bring your heels close into your hips. And have your arms down by your side. And again, just relax the torso for a moment. Notice where your body wants to fall, wants to lie. And then from here, my natural curve of my spine wants to hyper curve here. So I'm going to pull the lower belly in, lift the hips up, and then bring your arms down by your sides so your palms are on the floor and really root down through your feet. And as you inhale, press into the feet, lifting the hips up, but mostly focusing on pulling the front of the hips towards the ribs. So it's like you're reaching your tailbone towards the back of your knees while lifting this up. So we're really strengthening the belly here while making room for the low back. And take a deep breath in and just hold here, just noticing that movement of the hips. And then we'll exhale, coming back down. Inhale, same thing, lift the hips up, strong belly, lift the frontal hip bones up, allow your tailbone to reach towards the back of the knees and try to keep your butt relaxed, activating the hamstrings. So sometimes I like to roll my shoulders underneath behind you, maybe clasp your fingers if that's available so you can opening the chest a little bit more and really press into your shoulders so you're lifting up here. So if you want to go a little bit deeper into this back bend, make sure your knees are guiding together or the insides of your thighs are pressing towards one another. Your feet are pressing into the ground and it's almost like your heels are trying to kick in towards your butt without moving away from the mat. Another deep breath in, lift the front of the hips up towards the ribs. Allow the tailbone to reach towards the knees. And hold here. One more deep breath in. Exhale, slowly lower.